Hello, my name is Hector Rodriguez. I'm here with Dave Vesser with Books by DC Vesser. Today we're going to go over a couple things, but first we wanted to introduce you to the new book. It's out. It's ready to go. You want to talk to us a little bit about just about everything you should know about a handgun, Dave?
Well, I think the important thing about the book, this is obviously our third installment on these little short videos we're putting out about books by DC Vesser. And the important thing to know about this, just about everything you should know about a handgun, is it's merely a tool to get you where you want to go. A lot of this is on your own. You have to take into consideration what somebody tells you about a handgun, how you should hold it, how you should aim it, how you should buy one, how you should do all these different things that you're going to want to do with your handgun. You have to take advice from people, but that's all it is. It's only advice, okay? You need to find a way to make what you're going to do with your handgun comfortable for you. So I think that's the number one topic we want to go over here specifically tonight, I think, is what's good for you. I can really tell you the fundamentals, I guess, and you're kind of on your own to get to where you want to be.
So, that's actually a good point, because things, as a Marine again, and being in that leadership position, one thing that I always try to teach my Marines was the basics. Teach them teach them the basics and let them figure it out for themselves after that. If they were being taught by another Marine, I would try to tell them, those in a teaching position is, don't teach them your bad habits. Teach them the way it should be done. They'll figure out their own bad habits, or really what's comfortable for them.
Absolutely.
So I think that's an important piece about it. To dive into the book a little bit, as I was flipping through here, I thought this was pretty good. I don't think we've touched on this, and it has a little bit to do with your habits or the way you do things, or muscle memory. Is practice clearing your house in the dark. That in particular, I think, is very important, is understanding your environment, where you're at, and if you're able to practice in it, or how we used to say in the Marine Corps is practice how you fight. So do you want to talk to us a little bit about?
Yeah, I'd like to talk about that topic a little bit. One thing that's important to know about clearing your house is it's your property. You should know it better than anybody else. But you're in the dark, okay? Most of what you'll do with your handgun, unfortunately, will be during the time of darkness. So you have to have a good flashlight, something you're familiar with, something easy to handle. Know your house in and out. We talk about the deadly funnel, okay? This is an area when you're clearing doors and passageways where you're not exposed to a threat, but you become more exposed as you're clearing that threat. That's the funnel that we talk about. Know your house well enough you can go through it virtually blindfolded in the dark kind of thing, but do have a handheld flashlight with you so you can use it if necessary. Keep in mind, every time you turn on your flashlight, though, you're taking away from your night vision, while at the same time you're probably taking away from an intruder's night vision as well. So you can use that as a tool against the other person, as long as you don't look directly into the beam of the flashlight. Another thing, just to go backwards a little bit, you said train the way you're going to fight, I guess. You'll want to develop a way to manipulate your handgun through the building, keeping it always out in front of you, of course, but you'll want to be comfortable carrying both your handgun and your flashlight. There's basic ways to do that. Everybody has their own way of doing it. Just figure out something on your own, how you want to hold the flashlight, either alongside the frame of the weapon, or in front of you, or out to the side, or whatever it might take for you to get to your house. That's perhaps the best information I can give you on clearing your house. Don't go into the fatal funnel we talked about, not knowing what you might be up against. Remember, you're there in your home, and you're protecting those that are part of your family, people you love, people you want to take care of. Be cautious that you don't have accidental shootings where you might see something and shoot before you know what you're actually looking at. Another thing, I want to talk about targets a little bit while we're talking about this fatal funnel too, clearing your house. A lot of people will tell you if you're going to shoot, you need to get square on your target, and what you think is square on your target might include pointing your feet both directly at the target. Well, I'm not comfortable with that. I need to position myself, so I find a natural point of aim. And what I like to do in order to find that natural point of aim, I'll present myself in front of my target, and I'll stand there a little bit, and I'll point at my target, and I'll find what I think is center of my target, and then as I keep practicing pointing at the target, then I'll close my eyes and point at the target and open my eyes and look and see if my finger is still where it should be, then I have my natural point of aim. But if you find yourself pointing left or right and you have to pull the weapon one way or the other, that's not a good shooting stance for you. You need to get your natural point of aim, so when you raise that pistol up to the target, you're automatically on your target.
So you brought up a couple of things that I'd like to talk a little bit about is some tactics about cleaning your home. He talks about the fatal funnel in the book, and then there's negotiating the obstacles in your house. And the one thing that I can think of, in your home, it's very rigid, it's very squared, and how do you negotiate a corner? And I know in the Marine Corps they taught us is by slicing the pie. And then on top of that is negotiating those obstacles within your home, but also using those obstacles, as you were saying, as maybe a barrier, something to hide behind. As you know, if you're being approached, you can use a wall or corner, piece of furniture. At the same time, you also, like you said earlier, and we talked about it last video, was understanding what's behind your target as well. So any other things that, how would you negotiate, per se, stairs?
Stairs are probably the most difficult thing to clear. A stairway or a closet or room across from another room directly across the hall. Stairs present several different problems. Number one, if you have stairs that go up, turn a corner, and go up again, you have to worry about what's behind you.
Right.
As they might be coming down the stairs as you're trying to go up the stairs, or vice versa. And what you'll want to do, when we say slicing the pie, for example, and that's a good thing to call it, because you actually make like you're cutting a pie, you cut a straight line down through the middle of the pie, and then you cut another one horizontal, and it gives you an X, basically,
right,
that you have to overcome. As you're along the wall, I suggest you start with the clearing from the right, okay? Start on the right-hand part of the wall, unless, of course, you're left-handed and you feel more comfortable doing it the opposite way. But start as close to the wall as you can. And, well, before I get into that explanation, I guess I should tell you that all these wonderful cop shows that everybody likes to watch, for example, NCIS, something like that, they all go in and they bring their gun up, they look at the room, and real quickly they go clear, and everybody's, okay, clear, they acknowledge it's clear, and they move on, all right? That's not how it happens in real life. You just cling to the wall, and you a little bit out from the wall, a little more, you're actually slicing that pie, and what you're doing, as you make your side of the X smaller, you're opening up the other side of the X into the room you're trying to clear, and you look through the door to the left, a little to the right, more to the right, more to the right, and finally you get all the way around on the other side of the door, and it's time to say the room is clear. Now, if you have a door that opens into the room, of course you have to look to see what's behind that door.
Yeah, it can be very, very dangerous. I mean, I know we've, again, as being a Marine, we go through those different drills, but it's also, I think it's important to know your home, understand what obstacles you're faced with, and use that to your advantage. I think that would be another way to defend yourself and your home, is using your home as a tool, as well as understanding how to negotiate it. What other important aspects do you think in your book people should know about it? We've talked about a couple other things, but I know we didn't go through everything.
Well, I always get asked, when do you clean a weapon? Okay, the answer to that, I think, is, well, how often do you shoot the weapon? How often do you wear your weapon? How often do you fondle, handle, manipulate your weapon? Some people will tell you, you clean it every time you fire a weapon. Well, if you only fire the weapon once every 3 months or something like that, then that might work for you to wait that long. But if you wear your weapon every day, like many people do, you'll want to at least brag it down, get the moisture from your body off of the weapon, keep it clean so no rust encroaches upon your weapon, and every now and then run a snake or a bore punch or something through the barrel to clear that out. But the main thing is you must be comfortable with your cleanliness of your handgun. I heard a story a long time ago. I don't know if it's true. I don't believe it is true. I can't believe anybody this retarded. But perhaps not a good word to use there. But
It's better than shooting yourself, I guess.
But I heard a story one time about a security officer that was in New York City, and he was an armed security officer, and he was handed a weapon when he started his job, and he had a job in a bank. He was an armed security officer in a bank, and his boss told him, clean this every time you shoot it. Well, he never fired his handgun. He loaded his handgun once. 20 years later, he was a victim of a break-in at the bank. Somebody came to rob the bank. So, as any good armed security officer would do, he pulled his weapon out, tried to fire, and the thing was so corroded over with old lead and old debris that was in and out of his holster. The cylinder was frozen in place because of the sweat that had caused rust on the cylinder itself, and the guy wound up dying because his gun was not clean. So you want to make sure that it maintains the cleanliness that you want to have for your weapon. After all, you have an investment of $250 and up. I don't know of any handgun you can buy right now for $250, but you have an investment in the weapon. You need to keep it as clean as you want it to be.
Yeah. So, we've talked about just about everything you should know about a gun in the last couple episodes, the last couple episodes that we had. And if you haven't had a chance, go online to www.booksbydcvesser.com.
DCVesser.com.
DC Vesser, there you go. I don't know why. Hell, I built the thing.
What a fine job you did.
That's right. So it's www.dcvesser.com. I didn't mess that up this time, did I?
Yeah, we're good.
No, okay. So, but you can. I put a couple pages on there so you can go down and download a few pages out of the book to give it a quick read. Something you're interested, it'll be available. So you have a couple of the copies yourselves now.
This right here, this is a complimentary copy from the printer, the publisher, and they're available for sale now. You might have a little bit of lag time in the ordering process because they have a certain amount of time to actually produce the book, put it on the shelf. Right. But it's available for sale to private individuals online. We'll have some specific guidelines on how to buy for people that own a bookstore, for example, or a handgun shop that wants to sell a book. There's a remarkable discounted price for those type of people that buy in quantity, and it's available now for sale. So
go online, check it out. And on the website as well, we have your first book, Don't Let Them Win, is also available, and you can order it online as well. What's next for you, Dave?
Well, I have a couple projects in the works right now. I'm doing a little rewrite on the Don't Let Them Win. Okay. And I have to do that for publisher purposes, contractual obligations I have with the publisher in order to get them to publish that book for me. But I also have an idea about a book on George Soros, and I think it'll be quite a revelation about who George Soros is, where he came from, and what he has to offer to destroy America. So I'm really excited about that book as well. And subsequent to that, of course, we're going to do, I have a proposed title in my head. I think I'm going to call it Political Corruption, the Other PC. And just as political correctness is kind of destroyed our nation. I think political corruption, you'll also find it's on both sides of the politics.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
looking forward to that book as well.
Well, very cool. Well, thanks again for joining us, Dave. Again, go online to dcvesser.com. You can check out a couple pages of the book. You can also order online as well. Dave, he's also on Instagram and Facebook. If you want to shoot him a personal message through either one of those sites, please do. Again, hopefully we'll see you guys again next week, and we'll bring you something new.
Episode 4.
Episode 4, there it is. All right, Dave, thanks a lot, man.
It's a pleasure.
All
Thanks,
right.
Hector.